Good.
Yeah, you have to click the little box below it.
Oh, why is it so complicated?
Yeah, I know. It is fucking stupid. Oh, yeah, and by the way, they can hear me on my channel. YouTube is the fucking worst. Let's see here. Might come here, go here. Actually, let's just pull this over here. Getting my screens in order here. Where's my browser with YouTube on it? There you are. Is it still not starting?
I think so. I'm going to hope for the best. If not, they can just hear my beautiful voice. I was actually made for this stream.
Yeah, a little. I mean, quite literally, since we said featuring a super gay redneck.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone in the chat.
I told Mama one day this day would come. I put
Hey,
in the
godless.
title.
Oh, I accidentally called mine. Or no, you called yours Ad+Homies.
Right, yeah. I'm still fucked up from last night.
Okay, yours does appear to be working. Let's pop out. I'm going to pop out that chat too. I'm going to have both up. Godless Journey is in the chat. Do you know Godless Journey?
I do.
He mods a ton of our Discords, and he is apparently feeling better. He just had a stroke.
Oh, well, glad he's better. Welcome back.
Welcome back from the brink. Did you see Jesus?
I hope you don't watch my show, because it's probably what it's due to.
He had a stroke, and it's called the NonSeq Show.
Yeah, that's usually a side effect of. Oh, remind me when we get on and people can actually hear us. Remind me to tell you about the guest that's coming on tonight. Later.
They can hear you.
No, they can't.
Right. Who is coming on tonight?
Brother Ernest. Can I read you some of his things from his website?
Always. We got 90 seconds.
Okay. So here is his. This is his view on 9/11. Islam was framed by Zionist Jews in the United States government and in fake Israel. Let's get right to the point. It was the Canaanite Jews who did 9/11, not the Arabs. After all, the Israeli Secret Intelligence Service spells out ISIS. Can you figure that one out? Huh? Can you?
Well, I'm convinced, to tell you the truth.
ISIS. Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. Oh, man. I can't wait.
It's weird to watch Archer now, old seasons of Archer, because their company is ISIS, and that was before the whole, shabacle.
ISIS.
Yeah, yeah, and so it's weird because they'll just be like, "We need to get funding for ISIS," and it's like, interesting.
Mm-hmm. Cajun crustacean power plants are fake. Everyone knows that.
It's a Racha writes ISIS, secret Jews.
Yeah, it's always the poor Jews, man. And he also made a statement that that Caitlyn Jenner and Jessica Lange are really the same person. The guy's very homophobic.
Who's Jessica
I told Steve,
Lange?
I was like, American Horror Story.
Oh, okay.
You listen to it every week.
Every week. Well, I don't know why that's happening. Let's see if this is an infinite loop.
Oh, we were so young then.
We were. Yep. Apparently I had it on an infinite loop. My bad.
That's great. This is going to be good.
Come on, pig. Piggy. Come on, piggy.
Oddly enough, That's from a recent Trump rally.
Oh
They're
man.
introducing the president.
I like the idea of going to a ranch when it's around breeding time and you're like, yeah, oh, do you hear those pigs courting each other? And then you actually hear it's like a pig go, come on, pig! Here we go, pig! I don't think that's a real breeding call. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
It's like Deliverance.
Yeah.
Did you see that movie?
No. I did just watch a movie called Sorry to Bother You. Did you see that?
I don't think so.
So I remember the ads were going out like crazy, so you'll probably recognize this. Have you ever watched Atlanta?
Once.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw it once.
One of the actors in that, the guy who plays Darius, he's the main character, and he goes to work at this call center and realizes that he has like more success if he uses his white voice, and his white voice is voiced by David Cross. And so I thought the whole thing was going to be like a social commentary, him working up through the ranks. And you're like watching this and you're like, okay, now these guys are unionizing, definitely social commentary. Now he's at a weird party. Now he's doing coke. And just out of nowhere, he runs into people that are half human, half horse. And it just takes this random, out of nowhere, dramatic turn. And these like human half horse are like people who are like suffering because they've been transformed. It's like,
what they used to call them? What's that Greek word? It's not Minotaur. What was it?
Minotaur, yeah. Or centaurs?
Centaur, yeah. Yeah.
And then in this they called them equisapiens. So they weren't they weren't centaurs. They were super buff dudes, like bigger than Terry Crews buff, with horse heads and a big old horse cock. So listen, if you all want something to do on YouTube and you want a show that like already off the bat, you can tell it's kind of quirky, there's some comedy in it, and you think is a social commentary on like the way workers are treated in like these commission only jobs and at call centers, or like the concept of like, if you are a call dude, if you're a telemarketer, and you are black, you might have to use a quote unquote white voice. Like that's what it seems to be about. And then there's just horse dick in your face.
I'm pretty sure a call dude is something completely different than what you're talking about.
You are correct. I meant a telemarketer.
I'm pretty sure, but however, if you are a call dude, call me.
Yeah, TBH. It was the weirdest, like my roommate was behind me and he kept coming over because he'd hear little jokes and stuff. And then I was about to go to bed after I finished it because he had gone to bed before the horse stuff showed up. And but he called out and he was like, "Hey, should I watch that movie? I can't sleep." And I was like, "Listen, man, the movie you thought it was," because he was like, it seemed interesting, it seemed funny, and I love David Cross and stuff. I was like, it's not that movie. This is a movie about saving a giant horseman voiced by Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, there's so much to unpack there. I'm really not I can't offer anything clever because I haven't seen it, but it sounds like I just, from the takeaway from that is horse dick and really buff guys. I got that.
There's definitely a cult aspect to it too, because like this company that's turning them into horses is like this, I think they called it like the Well-Being Corporation or something, and they're getting all these people to sign up to come work there, but working there comes with all of your needs met. You live somewhere nice, you get to eat, and you're just like, and anybody can sign up. And then you find out that these like horse trials are happening, and then it has this weird, I'm just going to spoil the whole movie for everybody. And for people asking again what movie this is, I'm talking about Sorry to Bother You. And it like hit theaters. Like it was a movie, not just like a straight to garage or car wash bin DVD.
Sounds weird.
Then they find out, like he like reveals that these horsemen exist to the world, and instead of you thinking like the world was outraged, the stock in this company goes like way up. Kind of the idea of like when something is terrible, people would rather get used to it than fight against it. If it's going to take that much work. Now I want to go watch BoJack Horseman. It kind of was like BoJack Horseman. It was weird when
I never liked that.
It was weird when
BoJack
the horse.
Horseman. I couldn't get into it.
Oh, I thought it was funny. It was weird when the horse dude started talking because I was like, I know that voice. So I pull up IMDb and I'm like, really? This is where Forrest Whitaker's career is right now? Voicing a giant horseman. Yeah. Should we introduce ourselves? Tell people what the fuck we're doing here?
I'm Kyle. I host a show on YouTube. If you haven't found it yet, don't. And you'll remain sane.
I'm Jimmy. My channel on YouTube is Mr. Atheist. I would actually very much prefer you find it and subscribe. But that's just me. And we're going to review some videos. And this is Ad+Homies, a show we do on some Saturdays when Jimmy doesn't have to work.
Yeah. I wanted to, I told you earlier, and just, I know you didn't want to talk about this, but I have to rant about this. The Jennifer Lawrence thing. Outrageous.
It's not that I don't want to talk about it. It's that, like, of all the news stuff, it's not as though I see Ad+Homies as an anti-SJW show. And there's lots of quote-unquote SJW things I'm sympathetic with. So if the only things we bring up are the SJW stuff that I think is super stupid because BuzzFeed is behind it, I'm not trying to brand myself as an anti-SJW.
Well, yeah, but this is something that I think that it's very topical, and a lot of people are, the chatter about this. After we talked about it earlier, I went online and there's things about it everywhere. So I think it's something that people are seeing everywhere. And I think it would be remiss if we didn't mention it.
I think it is silly to give people an idea. Basically, Jennifer Lawrence is the face of this company called Dior. That is a fashion company. And they did a new collection that was inspired by Latin, a specific like Latin dress for, is it people who ride horses there?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is why it fits in perfectly with your horse.
With my giant horse cock show. And there's apparently so what my actual opposition is that pages like BuzzFeed act as though the backlash is ginormous, when in reality it's just they probably have a trending hashtag on Twitter and a few hundred people got upset about it. Right. I don't give a shit at all.
I agree. I think it's just a dumb story, and I wonder, the question is, at what point do they stop creating situations where there are not any? Like you just said, I'm sure it's not as big of an epidemic as they're making it out to be. Like, when does it stop? Is it just shock clickbait headlines? Is that the driving force behind it?
To tell you the truth, I would say that BuzzFeed, for example, I think has gotten as bad on the pro SJW side as some of these like anti-SJW people who I think are just ridiculous, like your Sargons, like your more recently, though I hope he's going to finally chill out because we all liked him when he was just a dope skeptic representative. But the kinds of videos you see put out by like Armored Skeptic now, they both are just going to these extremes. They see the reaction of the audience, and so it just feeds into their, well, we must be doing the right thing, and it just gets worse and worse on a never-ending spectrum. And I would like both sides of these issues to just go, hey, where we can't fix anything? From the extremes. Why don't we meet in the fucking middle and make this about being humans and try and fucking understand each other and not look for reasons to be pissed off? And I mean that on both sides, because the anti-SJWs are just as sensitive and terrible as the most sensitive and terrible SJWs.
I will 100% agree with that statement. 100% agree with that statement.
It gets bad. I'm going to go check our video because people are saying they're seeing blur. But
blur?
Is it blurry? I mean, things
might be
are
in my background.
Small. I don't know. Yeah, your background is blurry for sure. I'm just going in and looking. Okay, so I think they're mostly referencing the video on screen. And yes, that does look, it is blurry because it's an old video. The YouTube video, I think, is what they're seeing is blurry, more so than us. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm letting the people catch up and tell me whether or not that's what they think. Yeah, a lot of people are saying, so some people are saying blurry, some people saying clear. Make sure that your settings are set to 1080p. I don't know what to tell you, but if it's the video mostly in the YouTube video we have on, okay, cool. They're saying it's just their specific shit. That was Nikki actually was the one. Nikki was on our Thanksgiving stream the other night where we all talked about what we are thankful for.
And I was thankful for that.
Holy smokes, though. We just had a total agreement about a subject. That was
Yeah,
kind
I
of
don't
wild.
think it's there will be times that happens. I don't like it no more than you do.
Yeah,
I much prefer when we argue about things, but
I'm sure we
I have
could
to admit,
we could probably
Sure, we
find
could.
nuance between it and get all mad, but why? We already took care of the issue.
like I'm okay with Sargon.
I'm
We
sure.
could-
I was saying, I'm sure I could
just saying
hang
it-
out with them.
I'm just joking, man. I'm just joking
Yeah.
with you, Jimmy.
I'm
I
sure
don't
I-
mean to trigger you.
I'm sure I could hang out with Sargon. I don't think we could hang out and not talk, but I can hang out with people that I have tremendous. You're the one who you brought those guys for me on that show who who said Black Lives Matter is a supremacy group. Fun.
Oh,
that was a fun. The
yeah.
Mythicist Milwaukee guys.
Yeah, the guys from this Milwaukee. It's like I told people in we were having this conversation in our Patreon hangout. You have to be able to, at the end of the day, sit and look and take the good with the bad with some of these people. A lot of times people will just throw everyone's ideas out because they have one or two bad ones, and that makes them off limits, or they can't hear anything that they have to say. And I just think that's the wrong way to be, and that's what's kind of led us to this point where we're in different camps, and we're not leaving those camps, not to have a conversation, not to try to find compromise. It's just all or nothing with several of these groups, and I don't think that ends well at all. I don't think you can get by like that.
Now, when I talk about like finding that harmony and stuff, I am not suggesting that we have to guilt and yell at people and tell them they have to have conversations with so and so. So I'm not saying that David Duke, like a racist and a person who is somebody that person discriminates against, like you as a black person must go have conversations with the KKK, or you as a trans person must go talk to Ben Shapiro. Not that the level of hatred on those two is slightly different. But
Totally.
I don't think Ben Shapiro wants trans people dead. He just doesn't respect them, their identity, or their experience. But yeah.
Well, Vandy 04 says Jimmy's hair is better. I'm going to give you 5 minutes, Vandy, to think about what you just typed there. I don't think you meant to do that.
Thank you, Vandy.
So take that 5 minutes and let's see if that comes into focus a little bit better for you.
And I usually only read
I
the
love you,
super
Vandy.
chats, but I've been actually kind of watching these ones today. Sriracha said, "Ouch! What episode did you have Mythicist Milwaukee guys on? That's disappointing." I initially, I was like a no, then a yes, then a no, then a yes, and what it came down to was I said I will have them on as long as I'm allowed to challenge them. Kyle agreed. Wasn't stoked about it at first, but we don't have to rehash that. And I am perfectly happy to speak to two people. Now, by the way, at this point, I didn't know a ton about Mythicist Milwaukee, but I am happy to speak with people I disagree with because I'd like to bring up the things I disagree with. And to tell you the truth, I don't think they were the ones who came out looking so good after that video. I could be wrong.
Well, it came out to be, I think, a good discussion. I mean, I don't think that there was that it didn't turn into a dumpster fire, or everybody was able to have a conversation and disagree on many things, and still come out of there very cordial. So I think it actually was a huge success.
Yeah, I've had enough conversations with them, I think. So if like someone was like, okay, well, when are you going to have them back? I don't at present see any reason to do so for myself.
Well, it's not your thing.
I won't speak to you. Yeah, no, I don't mind it being my thing. I just think I got enough out of them. And it's kind of like if I had, as soon as I heard Black Lives Matter is a supremacist group, that flagged to me the same way. If evolution happened, why are there still monkeys? Like it's such a revealing statement that I'll have the first conversation that leads to that. But after that, and we had the conversation, I don't feel the need to return.
I actually got memed that today. There was somebody on Twitter that was arguing with me about evolution, and they spat out these really strange tweets. They sent a picture of two gorillas, one in a wedding dress and then one in a tuxedo, and it says, "Well, if we evolved from monkeys, why are there still monkeys?" And then it followed up with, "How only atheists are able to taste the pain. That's why you believe there is no soul." And I said, "Well, if we're talking about tasting pain, I do that on a nightly basis at 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday."
Yeah, no shit. You've been tried. Faith is not a virtue, however, patience is.
Doubt is. Everyone, doubt is a virtue. Don't you let Steve tell you any different?
I don't know if I'm sure the people on my side have seen the video I did already, but maybe not the people on yours. I'm going to put up the thumbnail here. Steve Harvey actually believes that if we came from monkeys, why are there still monkeys? In the video I did, there is an actual clip of him saying that. He also doesn't believe people should date atheists. He always says, if you date an atheist, where's your moral barometer? And it's just like, come on.
Do you think?
Did you time out Vandy for saying I had better hair?
Yes, I told her. That's why I said take these 5 minutes to think about what you did. I do love you, Vandy, but sometimes we just need to take a step back and reflect on the things that we're going to say. So I just want to be sure. That's how much I love you, that you're sure about that decision. Yeah. But are we sure that whoever, Steve Harvey for the most part is, I would think, pretty scripted, or he has to watch what he says. So either he has writers that help him out with putting things together, or that sort of thing. Are we sure he didn't read it wrong, like he did that one time? Time?
No, because there's more clips of him just saying nonsense, and he refers to, you believe everything came from a gaseous ball. I used to think Steve Harvey was extremely charming, more charming than I should have, because I didn't realize his formula for what's that game show, Family Feud. His formula for Family Feud was the exact same. Do you remember Bill Cosby's formula for kids say the darndest things? Let the kids say. Kids say the darndest things. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. Ask the kids a questions. Let them just say anything. Take a big pause and stare out at the audience, and let the audience turn it into a joke. That's Steve Harvey's exact Family Feud. But I'd seen some of his stand up. I had seen stuff that was funny, and I've heard other comedians though say that same. I'm trying to remember what this one guy. He was like. It was supposed to be like, comedian destroys atheism, and he's like, well, I've got a question for you. If we came from monkeys, why are there still monkeys? And he does this really stupid monkey face. He's
known for his teeth. His big, huge, gleaming teeth. And
I'm not talking about Steve Harvey now. I'm talking about a different comedian. I'm talking about. I am. Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make the distinction because I said monkey face, and I would only say that about a white person, not a black person, because the history of that word. I'm not going to say Steve Harvey had a monkey face.
It has begun again, people.
This white dude.
Speaking of horses, though, we were talking about horses earlier.
Who's got the horse face?
Harvey, look at those teeth, man.
Oh, he does have big teeth. Here's the thing, though.
Smile if I've ever seen one.
I'll give Steve Harvey this. He has the greatest mustache anywhere. S.O. Lykin said, Vandy is a hero. He do no wrong. Just a reminder to anybody, any super chats are read out in my safe knockoff Stewie Griffith voice.
Vandy should be out of prison by now, I think.
I love you, Vandy. I hope Vandy switched over to my channel to watch it. Yep.
Well, if he still feels that way.
Vandy did.
Yeah. Good. Stay over there.
Steve Harvey has the greatest mustache in history, I think. It's thick. It's full. It doesn't go crazy places. It's the mustache. Look at mine is all thin and wispy.
Geraldo Rivera.
It's lightly colored. You like Geraldo's, huh?
I don't like Geraldo. I think Geraldo's a trifling piece of shit, but his mustache is beyond reproach.
I love you, Vandy. Yeah, Vandy came over. Now I think Steve Harvey's got the greatest mustache of all time. Well, in the comments, in the live chat, we've got them pulled up. Greatest mustaches of all time. Let us know. We won't accept cartoon characters or Honey Boo Boo's mother.
That was good.
No, those are the only rules.
So speaking of crazy people, if you watched last night, Well,
Let me.
I'll just let this picture speak for itself. This is an accurate description of what took place on my channel last night. Sometimes I sit back and I'm in awe of the just how people can be duped to a level that is unimaginable. So let me run through. Basically, we asked this guy on. We did a show on Lord Rael about a month ago, and they weren't happy. Lord Rael's camp wasn't happy with how we portrayed them. So they asked if they could send their hold on, let me get this right. Their civil liaison officer out. Now, basically, what a civil liaison officer is like Sarah Huckabee Sanders. They are the mouthpiece, and the way he described it is he's able to convey their message without being taken to the serious level of it being doctrine. So he's able to say things that they can kind of navigate through. Is basically what he's saying. And
He's an apologist.
Yeah, to a certain extent, yeah. He's like the press secretary. He's
Okay.
able to come out and speak for the person without it actually being like, oh, Donald Trump said this. You know, Sarah Huckabee Sanders can say things that he usually can't come out and just say.
So he's a patsy, is what he is.
Sure, yeah, and last night he was like he took it hard last night. And to his credit, the one thing I will say about him is that he did come into the lion's den and he did hold up his own and he didn't quit. And usually that's what happens. Usually when it gets so bad. But I think there were a couple of instances in there where he knew what we were pointing out was just absolute bullshit. Like he could see it. But here's what he believed. Here's his proofs that Lord Rael is the reincarnated Jesus. The floating orb that happened over top of Jerusalem in 2013. There was a video of some like floaty orb above the dome in Jerusalem. Now that was foretold in the Bible, he said, and so that was Lord Rael descending down to earth. More crazy than that, though, is the prophecies, because the way that Lord Rael prophesies, and he points to an event that happened in 2014 where it got really cold, like some kind of like out of the norm cold spell or whatever. But that was because Lord Rael had prophesied this by using Twitter and posting a Madonna video and the lyrics to the song Frozen.
So, where do you start? So I jumped into that. Stream, and where I was, he was just lying about peer review and Googling term search. Basically, Googled like peer review Bible code and just clicking those open and saying, all right, well, here's one that support, and just making up that these were peer reviewed proofs of Lord Rael's code breaking. And that's absurd. Now, not to interrupt, but there seems to be some consensus here between both of our chats. There's a little bit others, like some honorable mentions. Sam Elliott, that's a good mustache. A couple people have mentioned Hitler. I don't feel the same way, but it seems like Tom Selleck wins out the most.
I agree. Live chat, you are always on point with this.
Yeah. And a couple super chats here real quick that happened. 0132132, the mutton stash is the best of all time. I don't give a fuck. And Vandio004, looks like it's time to start my own channel now that my name is out there. Jimmy's hair is still superior. Anyway.
Yes, Tandy. Please do that. I will false flag all of your videos for being incorrect on information.
I'll make you secret link of the day, like 10 videos in a row.
There you go. So the other points of where he was bringing up is the Bible code thing, and basically what he said was there's a certain way you can go through each letter in the original text, and it spells out Lord Rael so many times in a thing, and they do this with a program called Bible Code. But the funny thing is, what we did is Dr. Bowen, we got the program that they used. You buy this program, and it'll go through and find like whatever words you want in like a certain code, like 3 over 4 up, on every page 4 up. It spells out something. So we typed in Dr. Bowen's name, Dr. Joshua Bowen, and it came out like 6 times in there. Dr. Bowen is the Lord. Dr. Bowen is Yeshua. Dr. Bowen is the Savior. And what they now we did this as a joke. Now, when we had the guy on the show, we were showing him these things, and he thought we were being serious about it. Like he asked Dr. Bowen, "Do you really think that you are the Messiah?" We found out later in that stream. Now, this is the crazy part, that they went and corroborated it in real time. Like he was talking to a team of people on like a side chat or whatever.
Right.
They said that this is a valid prophecy, but that Dr. Bowen is actually an antichrist. He is the bringer of woes to. Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's so bizarre. I mean, the fact that he didn't get this was a joke is just incredible to me. I mean, absolutely incredible.
By the way, this should be its own show, and I'm going to steal the idea for myself. Having Dr. Bowen on for live streams just to decrypt some prophecies. I would like to find out what Mr. Atheist is in the Bible.
Skylar Fiction beat us both to that.
Damn. Well, I'm still going to do it. Yeah. What is YouTube if not everybody stealing each other's ideas? Thank you, Andreo Botella, who wrote, according to the Lord Rael people, the Bible... Okay, I fucked that whole thing up. According to the Lord Rael people, the Bible code says that Steve McRae is not a philosophical messiah, but a pope of anointedness.
Well, that is halfway true.
Was that something they said?
No, that's not something that they said. But the first part of that prophecy that you just read was accurate.
Okay.
Pope,
Steve,
I don't
Steve
know.
McRae is not. Yes, Steve McRae is not a philosophical messiah. When is he debating?
Well, you're not a messiah, Steve. But
when is he debating Dillahunty?
I don't know that we have a concrete date on that.
Okay.
He was supposed to. Dylan was supposed to get back with us Monday. This coming Monday. He was out of town or something, I think, for the holidays. But ESO says Kylva versus Vandy on the Geek Room. Sure, I'll take that. I'll take you up on that, Vandy. Why not? That would be fun. Let's do it.
For people who are confused, Dr. Bowen is Digital Hammurabi on YouTube. Fucking amazing channel. They were recently going through like old Sumerian things about like penis envy and such. It's pretty fun. It's a good deal. Yeah.
J.R. Pone says Lord Kyle. I like the
Lord Kyle.
That's call me Lord.
Him and his wife are both amazing. She does a lot of the channel stuff too. They're both friggin' wonderful. They were in Denver just last weekend, and I was trying my hardest to meet up with them, but we had to cancel our show and everything because I just had too much work stuff to do. It was a huge bummer. They're not around often.
It's a fantastic channel, though. Fantastic channel.
Someone on your channel said Matt Dillahunty is going to hang up on Steve, guaranteed.
I hope so. It's interesting. With the first time he came on, Stephen Dillahunty, I figured Steve would go into like asking him things like that because Dillahunty's looked to as kind of like the atheist representative, I think, in a lot of ways, and I think that would have been a good opportunity for. I think you want some King Arthur tonight? I'm afraid I can't, or unless you join us later, I believe I could.
I think Dillahunty is more a representative of skepticism and what it is to be a good skeptic. He's really good at wording skepticism. For anti-theism, I would give to R.N. Ra. I don't know if I would say there is a representative. If there was going to be a representative of atheist, I'd want it to be named for it, like the way Mormons say Jesus' church has to be named the Church of Jesus Christ. So something like, I don't know, a something atheist, a Mr. Atheist would probably be like the best representative of atheism.
I see what you did there. I don't think that there's a representative, but I definitely think he is one of the representatives of atheism. I think when people think atheism, they look to him. But I figured that would be a good the time that Steve would either prior to the show or off the show kind of ask him that question about his definition of atheism. But he didn't. I was kind of surprised because usually that's the question he goes for when we get people like that on.
You know what's funny is someone I think came from your stream to mine. Maybe I'm wrong, but came from your stream to mine just to throw shade. Full of Joy 365 sent a $5 super chat to mine and says, Kyle's hair is just perfect. By the way, this is just a man bun
I love
day.
you.
I love you. this is just a man
Whoever you
bun
are.
day. See my recent videos for the way I do my hair when I'm trying to be all fancy. It's more of a thing off to the side, one side slick back. It's a whole production.
Yes, Hannah, Hitchens is the master, and he will, he forever will be the go-to, I think, in the atheist movement. But
There's
he was
never
taking
going to
way
be
too
another
long.
Hitchens.
Yeah, not a chance.
It's funny. His brother. I like to listen to his brother, just because they both have the same love of language. Now his brother is a Christian, so that part. But I still love just listening to him talk to see that sort of same language pattern and everything. It's no doubt, man buns are lovely.
Yeah,
Karen,
he spoke beautifully.
Karen votes.
Well,
for
should we get to some rednecks? Yeah, Aaron I think is an example of, like Jimmy said, the anti-theist. Like he is Mr. Anti-theist. He goes, it's not good enough to just not have that that non-belief in God. That goes to the realm of it's harmful. We need to counteract it, and I do fall in that category. I'm in Orange Rod's camp, 100% on that. 100%.
I guess the only place where we differ, so I consider myself, when we're talking about colloquial terms, because those are the only ones that matter in casual conversation, Steve. I'm just going to shit on Steve every time we have a show. I am a weak atheist. However, I have strong atheist tendencies, especially in relation to religions that exist. So I am not going, Aaron will say God does not exist, that there is no God. I will say I lack a belief in God. However, I believe that the Christian God definitely doesn't exist. Any of them. The Mormon God does not exist. Islam. Even Thor. And I love you, Ocean, but I think Thor does not exist.
Not a chance, Ocean, but we still love you. That's just ridiculous.
TARDIS Chick super chatted, Jimmy's hair is better, fight me. I don't want to be like a marketing whore but I love that there's a super chat battle about hair going on in my live chat. And I love that and encourage it to keep going, even though that's incredibly self-serving. So
we do all know who the victor is. That's why I let it, I'll just let it go. It's kind of like cute, like, oh, he actually thinks he has better hair. I mean, just you have to let him go with it, guys.
I would say I think I like your haircut a lot. You look very handsome with it. Thank you. But at present, the one thing you can do with your hair, you're doing.
We should just leave it.
You're doing it. There's no.
We should just leave it.
It's not versatile. Like me, baby.
It doesn't need to be.
All right, let's work on some videos here.
Why are we here?
That's a complicated answer, and I think we have to find our own purpose. You asked an atheist, why are we here? What do you think you were going to get back? Okay, here we go.
Facebook or YouTube. This is my invention machine there. It's designed for the back, for stretching your back, but we use it for six-pack. People in their 60 years want a six-pack. This is how you do it, right?
I remember watching this before. I don't think this one was that. He just stops at the top of the brief.
He breaks his phone at the end, though. That's what I liked.
I didn't see that part.
You only hear it for a moment. But basically, he's doing these chin-ups, and every time he does a chin-up, it moves it closer to these bricks. So then when he tries to straighten back up, it just hammers down. Oh, shit. There is some shade.
Oh,
Andrea
look at this.
Batella.
Hold on. Jassa says, Kyle has better hair, end of question, and then I am here for Kyle's hair. Are we really going to make this about a hair?
Yes.
War? Like
I don't think we should read any of the agreements unless they're super chatted, because apparently your side does not like your hair so much they would super chat.
I'm going to read them regardless, but I just don't. I think we're cheating our audience if we continue to go on about our hair. I mean, at some point we have to just say this is.
Check this out though.
We both have great hair.
Super chatted from Andrea Batella. Lord Rael has the better hair. I don't think I can actually argue.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's almost Christ-like.
I agree.
All right, let's watch
By
this
design.
guy. He's gonna straighten back out. And his phone is over there on the bricks. That's what he's gonna get back up. 15, 16. Right down on him.
All right, America, I hope you're happy. I hope you're real happy with it.
I am pretty happy.
Yes.
Are you happy?
Yes. Right.
All right, cool.
Yes.
I've tried to tell you that America is sliding into socialism, and I've said it before. If you didn't listen to the Hour of Being Good earlier on, what letter does socialism start with?
C.
So is it spelled Scotia? Yeah, C.
Yeah, C.
S.
Oh shit, it was S.
What
oh,
letter
shit.
does Satan start with? S.
C. Damn it.
What
Did he say Satan or Satin?
letter does sodomy start with?
K for Kyle.
Yeah, that's true. Sodomy is spelled with a capital
That's
K.
easy.
Yeah.
S. What letter does soccer start with? I'm going to give you a great big guess on that one.
F, because it's pronounced football.
It's a S.
Ah, there. That was good.
Do you think this is some kind of coincidence or something?
Yes.
Do
Yes.
you really
No,
honestly think?
Yeah, I do.
I think it's the letters that they start with. There's nothing more to that. Like there's no.
Let's keep going down the
compounding.
rabbit hole. What letter
No.
does Socrates start with?
What letter does N stand for or no stand for? God, I just fucked up my own thing.
What letter does that whole thing
What letter
was
does
a
N?
mess.
What letter does N start with? What letter does N start with?
S.
Yeah.
Oh, good lord. So Satan,
Kylotomy.
sodomy, socialism, and soccer.
Saint.
Also saint.
Sex. Does he not believe in that either?
Ah, that's true. Stalin.
Sargon.
Stalin and Sargon.
Steve. You're right. All
I'm
bad
sold.
things do start with.
I'm sold.
Yeah, we agree.
Yep.
We agree.
All right.
That because it ain't at all.
It ain't
Soccer
at all.
is against God.
It is against God.
Yeah, it is. It is, but it's all just because it's against everything. Soccer sucks, and sucks
really does.
starts with the letter S.
Yeah.
Come on down.
That was baseball.
What we're going to teach you, hold that, Lord. And what we're going to teach you in our first episode is a proper stance and a proper configuration.
Because when I want to learn what real karate or judo is, I trust a guy with a bandana and a cape
He doesn't
and a
say,
white beater on.
He doesn't say judo because he doesn't like to give any credit to Jews. No, that was a bad joke. All right,
You got your Judy chop.
your Judy chop,
You got your karate chop.
but he does love Judy Garland, so Judy's fine. Steve Phillips super chats. Sean Surly sausage was surely shaped strangely. You didn't think I would get that on the first try. Now that wasn't my best Stewie impression because I was trying hard. Let me get a little back. Brian, can I have a graham cracker, Brian? Sean Surly sausage was surely shaped strangely. See, that time I fucked it up. Loved it though, Steve.
Okay.
2 for 1.
It's okay.
And you got your ninja chop.
Your
Now,
ninja
what's
chop.
The smart thing to do is like when you use a judo chopping, you gotta say it, for you beginners, like a Judy chop.
Like
What
a
you don't
Judy
wanna
chop.
do is That could be a Judy chopping and a kung
Look at her
fu
face.
kicking.
Her face sounds
there
like
goes
she's
your
like,
leg.
what did I do wrong in life to end up here?
I don't think
Like,
that's her
what
face.
decisions-
I think she's a redneck, and that is her just face of pure sexual energy. She has never been
No.
more attracted to anyone in her life than this man with his half red cape talking about ninja chops and Judy chops.
That is the face of regret, despair, and disbelief.
Someone's getting
I mean,
mad
look
at
at
me.
that.
Someone's getting mad at me for not liking soccer. I actually enjoy playing soccer. I cannot watch it.
Well, yeah.
Nothing less interesting to me.
I won't try to lessen the blow. Soccer sucks. Sorry.
I think anything that's kind of fun though. If you like soccer is something now I don't drink anymore, so I probably wouldn't like it now, but soccer is something you get day drunk and you play a bunch of. I like playing kickball still. Like just running around in a field with people having a barbecue, whatever you do is going to be fun.
Hannah Anderson, get ready. You just made a comment about Von Helton. Believe it or not, Von Helton will be here in 2 weeks. So
Hell yeah.
prepare yourself.
Ninja chop.
There ain't much calling for a one-legged ninja out there. Right there, hard as a rock, baby.
Hard as a rock.
They don't have last time, baby. Don't put fun.
Is that not just extra thick poster board? Look at the white border. That's the poster board from Walmart.
I thought it was a like a Trapper Keeper, that sort of like vinyl
Could be.
Thing.
Let's see how this goes.
I don't want to hurt you. You got me? What we're going to do here, we're going to work on the ninja chop.
He's so into this. Like, he's so into
You're going to ninja chop. Well, now say, sometimes it don't always work for an injury. You know, but it's practice.
Let's speed this up a little.
Look, she's laughing. Look at her face. She's laughing.
Nobody don't need an engine. All righty? Now, them things there, if I was put them in my pockets, they'd get me for concealment of a deadly weapons. It says you got yourself fellow coming at you out in the trailer park. Regular can of tobacco, you say? No, says I. Watch this, people. Yeah, we just roll through the trailer park.
No, says I.
No, says I. I may have sped it up too much. We'll go to 1 1/4.
Ninja start. Right there.
I need this at just regular speed.
Yeah. Get ready for this one.
I'm not going to make a fat joke.
Now, this is a contest. Keep that in mind. This is an actual contest at a fair.
Yikes. I have the most confusing boner right now.
Okay,
Just me?
so
Okay.
Listen, next time
It's just me.
Next time you have thoughts like that, just kind of as a friend, you know, let's take this to the side. Just kind of keep that to yourself, buddy.
Oh, okay.
You know, people are gonna think weird of you. Just
No worries.
keep that to yourself.
I hear it now.
Can you imagine pig call ASMR?
Oh my god.
Piggy.
Suey. Oh, that hurt my nodes.
Why are there pig imitation competitions? They're pig calls. They're you know, farmers that round pigs up or whatever. It's an actual contest that they do at the fair.
Okay, now the super chat game has shifted and they're just sending me fucking tongue twisters to speak as Stewie. Hang on, let me move this a little more centered up. I'm gonna move.
You got this.
This one's tough. Okay, Brian. I saw a saw in Arkansas that was the biggest saw I ever saw. So if you see a saw that was as big as the saw I saw in Arkansas, I'd like to see the saw you see. I'm gonna do it just as fast as I can. I saw a saw in Arkansas that was the biggest saw I ever saw. So if you see a saw that was as big as the saw I saw in Arkansas, I'd like to see the saw you saw. Fuck.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's tough.
Good try.
That was tough. Thank you, Cajun Crustacean. Damn. I saw a saw in Arkansas. I'm going to be practicing that for a long time. It's that second half that's hard. As big as the saw I saw in Arkansas, I'd like to see the saw you see. Wow. Thank you. All right. That was good. I'll take more of those. My throat hurts, actually, after doing that. This isn't the easiest thing to do, and you made it complicated. All right.
You think you got something on me? You know what? How you doing, motherfucker? I like you
Great.
too, man. What are you gonna do? My lawyer's already got a dick on
Isn't that the nicest way or the angriest way to greet people? How you doing, motherfucker? I like you too.
You know what's funny though is rednecks always think my lawyer is a good. And by the way, I feel like I'm just attacking a group of people here. Not only is my co-host here the gayest redneck I've ever met, I have also lived in Louisiana and Florida and Tennessee, so I feel like I get a little bit of redneck cred.
Yeah, I'm able to say whatever the fuck I want to about them because they're my people.
Yeah, there you go. Vandy004 says, I have something you can twist your tongue on. Well, do ya?
Oh, wow. Speaking of which, Pirates of Darkwater says, I have the best pubic hair. I actually don't have any.
Can confirm he has no pubic hair. All right, moving on.
Whatever.
My lawyer!
Shit, bitch. Guess what? I'm American. You're not.
Okay. I'm Arabian.
Yeah, you're
I'm Arabian.
That's the other thing, too. They always go to the, I'm American, therefore I'm better than you. Blah, 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 blah.
This is kind of what I'm talking about, like so nationalism I think already is stupid. Patriotism is better than nationalism, But is it? It definitely is. Let me be clear. Patriotism is better than nationalism, but to some extent, it's ridiculous. The people who are like, yeah, I hate French people, and they come up across a French person like, we kicked your ass in World War X. Like, you didn't, though. You had nothing to do with that. Like, you and there was no World War X, notwithstanding. But
Caleb, says, hey Kyle, I saw your 1080 video recently and I was wondering if you were going to ever do more on it. As a Kiwi myself, I'm quite curious. Thanks. I do think that we are going to revisit that. We're going to have an update from the guy that came on and spoke to him. Now he had a little bit of an incident with the police that actually removed him from the interview. That while we were live, the police came in to confiscate his guns. But I've wanted to do kind of a follow-up, and I think we're going to just touch base with him and find out what happened afterwards. And then we're going to I'm trying to get a hold of somebody that actually is with the government office that oversees the 1080p thing, because I want to get that side too. I'm in the first stages of talking with them now. They're still trying to figure out if it's something that they want to.
So there's a conspiracy to keep all displays 1080p, is what I'm gathering, right?
Yes. Well, okay. It's mainly orchestrated by the 720 people. They feel like they were their first HD, so therefore they have the right of way to that. They don't want a new, And then 4K. Don't even get me started on 4K. They
bunch
4K
of fascists.
was responsible for 9/11.
Yep.
They killed Kennedy. But yes,
Sony's working on an 8K right now. Who knows what they were behind? North Korea, I think.
We will be revisiting that.
Caleb,
how many guys have been down your happy trail? Oh boy.
Caleb is from New Zealand. I really think you should have done your best New Zealand accent, which my favorite New Zealand accent is the one that's really annoying. Hey Kyle, I saw your 1080 video recently. I was wondering if you were ever going to do more on it. As a Kiwi myself, I was quite curious. Thanks.
It's like John. It reminds me of John Oliver's, because John Oliver has a hate boner for New Zealand.
It's not pronounced Eminem's. Eminem. Eminem.
And yeep. Yep is YIP, and they even spell it that way. When I was talking to the guy that we were having on the show, I asked him. I said, "Can I use some of the footage that you sent me about the cops breaking in?" And he said, "Yip, like
yip.
YIP." Yip.
No. Now, I will tell you, my favorite thing comes from Australia, and it's actually kind of taken the world, but I love no worries. Yeah, right, no worries. Don't worry about it. No worries. I say no worries a ton now. No worries.
Well, but we were talking about patriotism and nationalism. Like, I think that patriotism is great. I think that there's a fine line. Like, I think people confuse what patriotism really is, and they get it mixed up with a certain almost racism, I would say. The people who say, "Oh, you're from another country, you can't be as good as us." People think like that is not patriotism. Patriotism is that you love your country and you're proud of your country, and if it came down to it, and you need to, you defend your country. And I think that there's absolutely nothing wrong with patriotism.
I think it gets weird and creepy pretty fast, in my opinion.
Right, but that's bastardizing what patriotism is, though. That's not real patriotism.
Perhaps. I'm not proud to be anything I was born, to tell you the truth. Like, I just am not. Sure. Now, I get if you come from like an oppressed minority and you've overcome oppression, being proud of that. But I don't know. I'm just not.
You're right, though. You don't have to be proud of anything that you're born in. I think you when you grow and you understand what this, like the things that we have done and our story, I think you grow to be proud of.
And the bastardization you're talking about is correct. The people who are taking credit for the great things that Americans have done are ridiculous. The people who are talking about we kicked your ass in World War II, you didn't do shit, bruh. That kind of stuff just gets so dumb to me.
Yeah, but it seems to be that false sense of what patriotism is seems to be, for the most part, that banner is carried by the people on like this, the ones that they fly their racism under a new banner. That's the only thing. So that they don't have to be called. Well, it's America. You're over here. You don't speak English. Well, we don't speak Spanish over here. You're in our country, so you speak whatever we speak. That whole thing is just a new form of racism.
One of your people brought up no true patriot. Also, it's used a lot to politically divide. So now it's like liberals love America, and yet it is the patriotism thing is the liberals hate America and they just want to see us in chains and they want the terrorists to win, which is absolutely ridiculous. And you also get a lot from the people who consider themselves patriotic. If you don't like this country, then get out. I had this debate in a Texas roadhouse with a guy, and I was like, actually, you know who I think doesn't like America between you and I? You. Because, for example, our Constitution was created to be changed every couple of decades via a conference system that we've just left behind because conservatives like you are so sure that it came straight from God, it needs no improvement. I am the one here saying our country needs to improve, and what's amazing about our country is we have a secular constitution that creates a pathway to improvement, and you're saying, no, let's just stay behind. So I think you should get out of America because America is really for the liberals. Suck it!
America is for anyone that is not for discriminating against. No, it's not. I wouldn't say it's for everybody. I think people who try to tell other people what to do or discriminate against them for stupid reasons should not be here. What we need to do is we need to find an island somewhere. We need to round up all these people, call that island New Texas, and then ship them out there.
Let's just send them to Texas. They can have Texas.
That's a joke. I forget the comedian's name, but that was a really good joke from this other comedian.
Let's evacuate Austin, and let's just let them have Texas. They can keep Ted Cruz. We'll take Beto O'Rourke.
So let's find out what Frank has to say.
Yeah, let's finish this.
The rest of.
Okay.
That's what y'all call it. You all are child molesters. I'm in my yard minding my business.
Oh, man.
And then we're playing fixing my fence I bought. And then you want to pull this? Shit! Shit! Yeah! Put that in the courtroom, bitch! You're a fucking... Hey, Jeffrey, you know how bad I want you?
I love...
want to fuck you in the ass.
Damn, that got homoerotic quick.
Whoa.
I love throw that in the courtroom, bitch! I just love the idea of, like, fast forward to... And could you read that back? Yes, he said, throw that in the courtroom, bitch. I want to fuck you. I don't know why I'm typing. I should be reading. I want to fuck you. I want you so bad. I want to fuck you in the ass. It's weird how the most alpha males...
Out of nowhere.
Yeah. It's weird how the most homophobic alpha males get gay real quick when they're angry.
It's a probable thing. There's actually a guy, I forget the guy's name, and live chat, if you can tell me who, what this guy's name is, please do that. But he hung out with Richard Spencer a lot. He's he's one of these alt-right guys, but he's like jacked, like huge, built straight guy, but he runs a group where these straight guys that are muscle-headed idiots go on a retreat on a weekend, and they just have sex with each other. It's a primal thing. There's no love, no cuddling, no kissing or whatever. It's just it's a sex fest with a bunch of straight muscly guys, which is, I think, is fantastic.
They're not straight. Like,
well, that's...
if you want to go away for prison for a couple of years and you really miss it and whatever, and something about you, though, again, sexuality is a spectrum. I'm not doing the Ben Carson, like these straight guys aren't really gay. It's a choice they're making at all. But I'd listen to a case there. If you're just like, hey, guys, waiting for the double penetration BF weekend.
That's not what they do, though. Like, see, here's the way that I look at it. I think that, I don't think that you can box people in that way, because I have met several straight guys that would do something like that, but they're not romantically attracted to, like they could never date or cuddle or hold hands or hug or any of that stuff. It's completely about sex.
I don't think that means that on the scale, because you're just talking about their romantic orientation, but as far as sexual orientation goes, to me, that you can't be just.
You don't have a romantic orientation, though. That's not a real thing. There's
okay,
no such thing as a
what
romantic
your orientation is definitely is affected by both. So it's to me, it's.
I disagree. I think it's mainly who you're gonna like when you go, like, for example, when you go to like Tinder and they ask you the question, what is your orientation or your preference? if you're a straight guy and you're looking to get into a relationship with a girl like on Tinder, you're going to put that, or you're going to put straight or whatever that they're asking you. Now, if it's just a hookup thing and a have sex thing, I don't think that comes, or that, necessarily alters that.
I think your sexual orientation describes who you want to have sex with.
Nah, I completely disagree with that. Disagree.
Think by definition it does.
No, I mean you're using because the word sexual in there is, we don't, like you said, we don't have a romantic orientation. That's not a word. Now, if we probably a more appropriate word.
Romantic orientation isn't that phrase I came up with is not a thing. However, there are people who that phrase romantic orientation. I don't know what it's called. The concept does, because there are people who are not asexual, but they are aromantic or such and such. So the romanticism is something. I don't consider myself straight, but when it comes to actual relationships and romance, there's definitely a femininity to, I'm generally either dating women or feminine beings.
But there's a difference between the two, is my ultimate point. There is a difference between the romantic orientation and the who you want to have sex with. There's a huge difference between the two.
Sexual orientation is only in relation to the gender to which a person is attracted.
Yes. Exactly.
That has nothing to do with romance, bro.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point. There's two completely different things. You said the opposite. You can be straight and still.
If these guys want to bone each other, if these guys want to bone each other and they're excited for their double penetration BF weekend, and I'm sorry,
it doesn't make them gay.
There's no
or bi.
I don't think they're straight. I'm not saying it has to be straight, gay, or bi, because I think the spectrum is a lot more fabulous and beautiful than that. But I definitely don't think it's straight.
They're definitely not. I think that you have to be able to separate the two. One is a prime, like that. They just want to. What's the safe word to use? They just want to ejaculate. There we go. And then one is who you want to have a relationship with.
I don't know anyone who has a higher libido than I do, though. I don't have there are people who have angry libidos where when they get turned on, they do just become primal. So I do see your point there, but I don't.
Well, we just have to agree.
I'm sorry. These guys are electing to do it. It's not like I'm showing my dominance, which still has a lot of homoerotic themes to it anyway.
You can do that. You can do that, though. Kyle is spot on. Thank you.
There's other people in your thing totally disagreeing with you, too, though. So you can read out just the ones who agree. But
without a crystal ball, you are describing me. Thank you.
All right, let's get back to this guy who, because he said, I want you bad. I want you so bad, I want to fuck you in the ass. That's not straight. Can we be clear there?
How did it go?
Get it?
Got it. I got it. I got it all.
Get it? Got it.
That's their duckheads jump over every day. Yeah, I'm fit.
What?
Why would we want to jump over your fence?
You take your shit.
You ain't got nothing.
He's so angry, and no one knows. No one knows why he's angry.
Look at
Their
his
duckheads
shit.
jump over every
Oh my
day.
God.
It's our fence. Stop touching it. It's ours. It's not yours, you dumbass. You're a crackhead.
I fix it because you're
Well, don't.
I think he's mad because the guy's Arab. There's this thing about the fence that's in there, but I think it's just the Arab thing, or at least that he thinks he's Arab. I don't know for a fact that he is. Someone said Arabia earlier, but
We'll fix it. It's ours. We don't need you to fix our fence.
See that? Fuck you.
I see it.
Okay, Jeffrey. I want to
I'm
beat
fixing
your ass.
the fence. That's your duckhead.
No, I wish on everything they do.
That just seems like such a happy place to be. My question is, what is an Arab? Or what is somebody who I think said he was Arab? What's somebody that is Arab doing there?
I mean, they
why?
live all over the place, man. Like people,
Why?
but generally people live all over the place. Business opportunity. I mean,
Business opportunity.
Foreign people make up small business owners at a pretty
look
high
around.
rate. Yeah, I get it, but he probably lives there. You buy what you can buy. I don't see it weird that he lives there, especially because when you go and a realtor takes you to homes, and you might be renting, you might have bought, but when a realtor takes you to homes, you don't get a good gauge of, so how racist are the neighbors? We found out,
though.
my roommate and I found out that we have a bunch of homophobic neighbors because they saw two men living together and assumed he and I were together. And we have never, ever done anything besides spooning. That is the furthest our relationships ever got.
I think he broke down, actually. That has to be the answer to this story. They broke down. They parked too close to the fence, and they're trying to get gas. Mission solved.
Could be. I don't know. It looked like he was part of that house over there.
No.
Your duck catch, jump over this fence every day.
Y'all keep calling me a redneck, and I guess I had to look that shit up. I'm like, why they keep calling me a redneck? So I had to get in and get myself a redneck. So I guess now I'm a redneck. So I kept trying to figure, shut the hell up. Does that make me a redneck yelling up there at the dog? Let's see, because I was trying to figure out, I don't live in a trailer. This ain't my real voice.
We're low on time. Let's move forward.
Hey, y'all, what's up? It's me, Carla. Me and Ronnie had date night tonight, and he took me to this fancy restaurant in the city here, as you can see.
I sped it up.
Her hair's
amazing.
He said, baby, let's stop and see if there's any copper
It's like a mop and a spider had a baby.
on it.
Yeah.
Side, there's all this torn up stuff. Let's see if there's some copper and some lumber. Essentially, he's wanting to steal it. But, you know, what am I going to say to him? Anyways, at this restaurant, we ate the most delicious steaks at Ponderosa. You ain't going to believe it.
You think she's
buy
real?
A steak meal at Ponderosa. Hey, babe.
No, I think this is all staged.
Yeah, she's firing on fried bologna sandwich. Look at them long titties she got there. That's what I'm
Look at them long titties she got there.
I'm telling them about how you at Ponderosa you buy a steak, and then you get
By the way,
free buffet.
have you ever had a fried bologna sandwich?
Yes, I have. Again, lived in Louisiana.
I used to love. I have to admit, I used to love those as a kid. I loved those as a kid.
Did you ever do a batter dipped one that was put down in the thing, or are you just talking about the grilled cheese basically with bologna on it?
No, but it was what my grandma would do is take a piece of bologna and score score it in 4 places, and then start to fry it, and it would bubble up like a balloon, because the heat would get in there and make it and then she would throw the piece of cheese over top of it, so the cheese would like literally be melting around this half dome of the firmament of bologna and Velveeta. Oh, so good.
So good.
You get all the mashed potatoes that you want.
Did you ever have real Southern Velveeta mac and cheese? Mac and cheese mixed with cream of chicken, and then that's in your noodles. So good. You just take a whole block of Velveeta, and then you stick a can of cream of chicken in it. Wow.
Listen to this. Kuyasa says this show is shattering so many fantasies foreigners have about the U.S. We still want you over here. Still come over here.
Listen, I am high class. I am positive. One of my best friends in the chat. You got to meet her the other night, Kyle. She thought America was terrible, Ida, and until she met me. So she realized it's all wonderful.
America's not terrible. We're actually there's not another country like us, and I think that for the most part, people here are really good, and they mean well. I think sometimes the intentions get lost in some of the bad things that happen, but you can't lose sight that ultimately it's a great country.
So my opinion, I'm a liberal who definitely points out the flaws. Now Trump is challenging this, but I don't think there's a better country in the world. I think America is still the greatest country in the world. The fact that we have a secular constitution is amazing. There are a lot of things that are shitty about us. And yes, when I say I think we are the greatest country in the world, I'm either ignoring or pretending Canada doesn't exist, because they're pretty amazing. But America, Canada's great.
They're like America Light. They're like America Light.
They're just kind America.
They
Sometimes,
are very kind of America.
Some places suck, but I do still think America is the greatest country in the world. But that doesn't mean we are perfect. And right now we are sliding back, and I think we need to stop that.
Here comes all the Canada comments. We love Canada. Canada is better. Canada is similar. I agree with Kyle about Americans. There are some really decent people in this country. There are a lot more decent people than not decent. A lot more.
That's an interesting question for me. I'd say it's pretty close to 50-50. I think
no, absolutely not.
I think probably about half the country sucks.
No, I mean to somebody, everyone has a sticking point where they suck at. You know, you could point out every person and find out but as a general overall, would these people in the if you got hit by a car and would they pull over to see if you were okay? I think the majority of the country would, absolutely. 100%.
I live in Denver, and I think it is demonstrated not to be true. I think a lot of accidents are just passed right on by, and a lot of people, especially with traffic being as bad as it is, not only do they not care about the welfare of the driver or the passengers, they're pissed off at these people who are now hurt because traffic's been delayed.
I think that's a terribly cynical way to look at. I don't think that's the case at all.
I think most very well could just be my cynicism, but I think most people suck. Or at least half of people suck. There
are plenty of people that do suck, but for the most part, the majority of this country is fantastic, and we continue to prove that. I think in our advancements in issues, especially with here recently with the LGBTQ community. I think that we're evolving into a naturally, the way things should be, without that fear of people that are different being ostracized or not being made to feel comfortable. I think for the most part, people are tuned into that. I think people are way more accepting now than they used to be.
I do see a lot of progress and things to be proud of and excited for, but I would still put a ginormous portion of the country, because I mean, even with that accepting, keep in mind, like, the Republicans just got a loss of the House, but it wasn't a blowout. And that is, I think, a referendum on Trump, and that a lot of the country does like him. And he has had a lot of he's literally just, was it yesterday or today that he asked the Supreme Court to take up the transgender troops thing. And I just think that is bananas.
Sure.
People volunteering to die for our country, and he's not satisfied with them because he doesn't agree with what's going on between their legs. Fuck that guy.
I think that I still hold on. I still hold on to my statement, though, that the majority of this country is good and decent.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm there with you, man.
You're just cynical. It's okay.
I know I am cynical. I 100% agree I'm cynical. I don't think that necessarily means I'm wrong. I know there are times my cynicism makes me wrong, and I expect the worst of people when I shouldn't, but I don't think in this case I'm being only cynical.
You're being cynical about your cynicism.
It's kind of funny, though, because I see more support for my point from your live chat than mine. My live chat's talking about other stuff. Anyway, Stephen King and such.
I'm sure that I think that some people do have that outlook on life. But
William, I disagree. William said Denver sucks. Denver is the greatest city in the fucking U.S., in my opinion.
Los Angeles.
We've talked about this. I do like L.A., but I've been all over the place, and Denver is...
Speaking of all over the place, we are all over the place.
Yeah.
Tonight. All over the place. And we're going to have to be wrapping up here in the next...
Look at them long titties.
Well, you got to pay extra for the drink, but we just
have another joy to get ready for.
Let's finish up long titties.
Just get the water cup, and we put it, put the soda in there, but don't tell nobody you put Sprite. Baby, what you doing?
What do you mean, what am I doing? I'm saving money. Check it out. Got the detergent, we get 2 washes.
All right. So, actually, here's my example from... Now, this is over a decade ago now. This would have been about a decade ago. This is from the campaign trail of Obama. Here is America's finest.
A small town in the swing state of Ohio is where Sarah Palin addresses some of her core supporters. This area is mostly white and working class. And here's what some have to say about presidential candidate Barack Obama.
I'm afraid if he wins, the black will take over. It's not a question.
For those who couldn't hear that because the audio isn't super clear, I'm afraid if he wins, the blacks will take over. Followed by, he's not a Christian, which he is.
This is a Christian nation.
Which it isn't. This is a Christian nation. It is, in a almost colloquial sense, a Christian nation in that it is a mostly Christian, but it is not by any constitution or establishment of government a Christian nation. Quite the opposite. It is a secular nation. Vegan atheist Coral wrote, "You are both all over the place, and I love it." I'm just glad that
we love you too.
I'm actually kind of relieved. While I like the live chats, the super chats, I'm pretty relieved that there was only the 2 tongue twisters. Let's he's not a Christian. What do you think about that, Kyle?
I think that this woman is just a terrible. This is an example of the bad that is in this country, because she's old. She's set in her ways. She grew up in a time where it was okay. And that doesn't in any way dismiss what she said, because she should know better now. Like, just because you grew up in a time where it was at one time okay to be discriminatory doesn't mean that you don't have the fucking smarts to understand that it's not now, and to see that the error of your ways back then. And those who don't, I just have no sympathy for. Like, I just think she's a complete idiot.
It's where I lack the most patience, and maybe I need to get more, but I just don't have it anymore. I would say I would take, what's like a good unit? I would say, like, take all these people, give them a good label and a group. I would put them in, like, because it's really deplorable. Some kind of like they're in a deplorable basket. All of these people, something like that.
Oh no, you didn't. Oh. No. I bet you have your own email server too, don't you?
I wish they would
Nasty
just
bitch.
Pokemon go to Russia. If you love Russia so much, why don't you fucking move there, you fucking asshole?
Jimmy is such a nasty woman. I'm so sorry. She's such a nasty woman.
So shrill.
I'm going to grab you by the pussy.
Well, please do that, but...
What is our country going to end up like?
When you're got a Negro running
We're going to end up
president.
black.
What's that?
She said our country's going to end up black.
I heard.
No, I mean,
yeah. What is it? What is our country? Let's go back to.
Like
When you're got a Negro running for
nation. What is our country going to end up like?
What is our country going to end up like? But she did say earlier, I'm worried that if he becomes president, the blacks will take over.
I thought she said, I'm worried that our country's going to wind up black. My bad, lady. You're still racist, though. Moving on.
Basket of deplorable bitch.
When you're got a Negro running for president.
I can't say if he says the actual N-word or the one that ends in the O.
I think he said Negro, yeah.
I think he said the other one, man. Let's try again. This is going to be like the Yanni thing.
When you're got a Negro running for president.
I actually think you might be right on this one.
He ain't a first stringer. He's...
Hannah Anderson points out, why don't these ignorant adults not realize that he's half white? That's a very true, because for some reason, it's if you're half black, you're all black. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
It's just a thing.
He visibly passes as black. That's their problem with him, as does his wife.
Definitely a second stringer.
He seems like a sheep.
Well, you can't say this was a product of an older generation. Either of these terrible racists here.
Yes, I can. It's those same old people that didn't change their ways that are responsible for this. That's exactly why.
I mean, granted, racism is something that is learned, but it seems to still be learned en masse.
Wolf and sheep.
Now, I'm not saying half. By the way, I'm not saying half of America is racist and sucks because they are racist. I don't know what the statistics are, and also what is the line of racism? When is somebody considered racist? Because certainly racial bias exists within all of us, and so you have to. It's hard to even say when you're going to go with that label.
Chris Foster, I think, hits the nail on the head. Grandparents, religiously devout parents, kind of religious. You not religious. There's a trend and it's growing. Right, but you're exactly right. But the thing is, in these cases, like with this guy, these are the people that weren't able to make that connection in their mind. When we spoke about that older lady a second ago, she was one of those people that weren't able to make that connection that this is not okay anymore, and they were wrong. That my parents' generation was wrong. Those people that were able to make that connection and see where the errors were are responsible for those people nowadays, like our parents, us, because they didn't grow up in that. Their parents didn't teach them to continue to believe in that. But then you have cases like this where that still happens today. It's still taught that, well, they're a lesser race than you are. And until the older people like that die out and finally free up, the country like it should be, I don't think it's a problem. But we got to get to that point first.
I hate the idea of relying on it dying out. I hope that for the most part it will be solved with education and fixing people. But you're probably right that it's going to take dying out.
It'll happen.
If that is the reality,
they'll die
that
a lot
blows.
sooner. They'll die a lot sooner before they come to that realization, I think. If you haven't come to it by now, you're not going to.
I think I agree with you. It's not a concept I like.
I believe Palin, she's filled with the Holy Spirit, and I believe she's going to bring honesty and integrity to the White House.
Honesty, integrity to the White House. Remember that 10 years later, 8 years later, she supported Donald Trump wholeheartedly. And you want to talk about... I don't care if you are a Republican and you like his policies and stuff, you cannot with a straight face tell me that Donald Trump has honor or integrity.
He had none of the above. And neither does Sarah Palin. I mean, she is not only the I don't even know. There's not even words to sum up what she is. She said she can see Russia from her house.
Yeah.
Just let that be. Let that be enough, okay?
Ida wrote something in Arabic in the live chat, and I'm wondering if it was to try and draw out any racist that might be in there.
It says, I put it through Google Translate. It said, I love you, Jimmy, but Kyle's hair is better. And you misspelled better, by the way.
I wouldn't doubt it.
He's related to a known terrorist, for one. He is friends with a terrorist of this country.
He must support terrorists. If it walks like a duck and
he actually
quacks
killed
like a duck, it must be a duck.
The terrorist.
Yeah, no one has been responsible for the death of more. Let's start with Muslim terrorists, and then let's also include Muslim civilians than Obama.
He's the terrorist.
Yeah,
literally.
That administration killed a lot of people with a lot of drones, but.
Yes,
I still liked Obama.
Beiser.
That wasn't
yes,
me
she did,
hating
Mark
on
Beiser.
But some of those policies I was not on board with.
And that to me is Obama.
Just the whole the Muslim thing and everything. I mean,
still not a Muslim.
Yep.
Everybody's still kind of. A lot of people forgot about 9/11, but I don't know. It's just.
Nobody forgot about 9/11. You can't forget about 9/11 in this country.
Right. Rudy Giuliani won't let you.
Yeah, no shit.
A little unnerving.
Obama and his wife, I'm concerned that they could be anti-white, that he might hide that.
I don't like the fact
he's half white.
The funny thing is you reveal your racism when you say that. I'm worried he might be hiding that he is anti-white. Well, why do you believe that? Well, because he's black. And what my experience being a white person is that as a white person, I don't think any other race is as good as my race. So therefore, he as a black person must think the same thing.
Yeah.
Let's not clip that and take that out of context. That's going to be good when I run for office. That was me quoting someone else's mindset.
He thinks us white people are trash. Because we're not.
Hey!
Never ever said white people are trash, and without white people wouldn't have been elected. So.
And his friends lined the
No, he wouldn't.
road leading to the rally to show their support for Barack Obama.
Hey, women's rights! Their body, their
Baby killer. Call it what you want. It's baby killer.
Taylor is from St. Clairsville and is shocked by the names he's been called by his own neighbors.
Been called the N-word. I've become a Muslim.
He's been called the N-word and a Muslim.
I've been
clear. Yeah, makes sense.
Called a un-American. I'm worried with these people. The tension's getting thicker and thicker. When people like that, it's starting to scare me.
Worried about what? Be specific.
Be specific. I'm afraid some of these people might try to hurt Obama.
The divisive nature of this campaign has brought out...
Well, at least I do miss the days when they were chanting "Drill, baby, drill," because lock her up just... Are they still going to chant lock her up now that Ivanka has been using a personal email server for government business?
Hell yes, they will.
Are they going to
let that one go?
Are Hillary and Ivanka going to share a cell, or what's going to go on there?
I don't think that would wind up working out very well for Ivanka.
I think we have found a great place to leave this here. What do you think?
I think so. I think we've covered every possible subject under the sun tonight.
It's incredible because we saved the world. Everything's going to change because of this show tonight.
I think so. I think people are one step closer to the truth, and it's been a pleasure us being the vessel to take you there. We're like the boatman for the river Styx, but this river is called truth.
There you go. Thank you all so much for watching. I am Kyle Curtis, the Non-Sex Show host. Never subscribe. This is my co-host.
And I'm Jimmy. By the way, I'm Jimmy. Fuck you, like and subscribe. Mormons. Steve Harvey. And by the way, if you want to, you can. In 30 minutes, we're going to be having a discussion between Red's Rhetoric and Brother Ernest on the. It'll start out with the shape of the planet. It may cover other things that he doesn't believe in Bruce Lee, or that he thinks Bruce Lee was a hoax. Also thinks that he's the guy that owns NASALies.org and Jesus was not a Jew.org.
Also, catch Kyle tomorrow on the Golden Nuns, and you can go and vote for my channel if you want for Best New Atheist Show. We started back in February. I am closing in on 7,000 subscribers. I'm currently at 6,950. So, you all want to hit that button for me? Now people are going to unsubscribe. That's what happens every time I mention it on the live show. But also tomorrow night after the Golden Nuns, Kyle will be coming over and we are going to do an atheist game night with myself and
Quidditch.
Kyle and a bunch of your other favorite atheist content creators. And we're going to be playing Quiplash, not Quidditch, but close.
Where did I get Quidditch from?
Harry Potter. Fuck you all. Like and subscribe.